PKN 269. Woody, Kyle, and that guy that you tell the show starts at 6, so he gets there at 6:30.
Yes.
You guys have that friend.
I was so fucking sure that I would be able to get out of obligations and make it home, and then nope. Nope, not at all. And where I was, I had terrible service, so my bad.
Well, we
My
knew,
bad.
Taylor. Perhaps you just met you and didn't realize that you'd be late.
Well, I hope you guys don't have any pressing plans later on.
No, I pushed it to 6:30 is what I needed. The way that flying and the show conflict changes throughout the year, right? So now sunsets at like 6:30. So if I ask you guys to just delay to 6:30, like there's no conflict. In the summer, sunsets at 9, so I can go after the show. And then there's just a few weeks a year where I'm like, hey guys, does 7 work for you?
I had a meeting with a client, and that client had hired a new girl recently.
Okay.
And she's a younger girl. And I had an awkward experience because I don't see her that often. And so I guess I was like walking through their parking lot, like going to my car for something in the middle of the day. And then when I saw her, she was like, oh, I knew it was you. I can recognize you from the back of your head now. And I was like, I can recognize you from the back of your head too. And it didn't until a minute later register. It's like, oh, that's not appropriate. Saying that like you're fucking someone doggy style and you know the back of their head. And I think that she took that away from it because she laughed. And I didn't mean for it to be that way.
I just assumed you meant her ass in a roundabout way. I didn't really go to the full, you know, when you're fucking her doggy style, probably in the ass.
No, just regular doggy. It's traditional. I'm a traditional man. Okay. Let's keep it in the safe hole. Kyle's teeth gritting seems to imply he agrees. Dude, you look mischievous like a clown over there. Did you end up seeing Joker?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm thinking about going tonight, actually.
Dude, I almost went to your place to like go. Like the weather on Saturday was supposed to be bad and Sunday was good. And I was like, dude, I'm in Hartwell. I'm going to ring Kyle. I'm going to invite him to go see Joker somewhere. Whatever. We got time. And then the weather turned really good and I got swamped. But
yeah, I was probably my sleep schedule's, it's nice to be able to turn on the lights schedule whenever you want. It's almost like I'm paying for this electricity.
It's like you're not married.
It's real nice to have control over electricity and your own refrigerator and stuff. So I'm really taking advantage of all that. Like last night I was up till like 6 a.m. Don't be confused. I didn't go to bed at 6. At 6 a.m, that's when I decided, let's make some ice cream. I think this is the right time to make some ice cream. And I was like, I don't even have the ingredients for ice cream. Let's see what I have. And I had like an old.
Oh, I forgot you bought an ice cream maker.
I have an ice cream maker. It's incredible. It's incredible.
I was like, oh, you go to the store and fucking buy it, retard.
No, fuck all that. No, now I make whatever kind of ice cream I want. So I had like a whole jar of those maraschino cherries, the kind that the juice is just so delicious. Yeah. And so I'm just like, we're gonna make cherry ice cream. So I just pour the whole jar into the sweet cream, which is like the base for any kind of ice cream. And I had like one of those big family style candy bars. So I just crushed the fuck out of that and throw that whole thing in. It was a Hershey's Symphony, which is like toffee and almonds. Good. I'd never had it before. I got it specifically to make ice cream out of it. It was incredible. It's really good.
Yeah.
I like that Kyle's just scouring the house for ice cream ingredients. Pickle juice? The fuck?
You joke? In prison, they made cheesecake. I don't know if I talked about this, but they make cheesecake with like the bootleg ingredients. One of the flavors of cheesecake was pickle juice cheesecake.
Pickle juice is underrated. That shit's legit.
Not in a cheesecake. That's a terrible mouthfeel and texture for pickles. Fuck that. Oof.
I'm in.
They were into it. Yeah.
I mean, but you get into weird shit when you're locked up like that. Like you get what you can and you take what you can. That's why so many guys will like in prison, if they're the big muscular guy, fuck assholes of other dirty men and then get out and be homophobic and be like, nah, I'm not gay. I just fucked that guy.
Yeah, the gay guy told me that like anybody who's been in for 5 years, they're down. Like after 5 years, everybody's down for some of that.
Can't you just beat off and then be like, ooh, saved myself again from something that, just imagine the first night in prison, Kyle. Like, imagine you were 5 years and 2 days in, you finally get your dick sucked by a guy, and he's like, hey, come on, I gave you the max, suck my dick. And you suck his dick, and you're just laying in bed, a bleachy flavor on your tongue, wondering, who am I?
But see, I feel like that's a lot of your hang up, Taylor, is that you don't want to be gay. Now, if you take away that like stigma, if you take away if you're in an environment where all the highest ranking people are down for a little gay sex but not being gay, then you might reprogram a little bit there.
Yeah, but the big hang up isn't I don't want to be gay. It's fucking a man isn't appealing.
What if it's a good-looking man? Well, there was a transsexual that was there a couple months before I got there, apparently, with some big old fake titties.
That seems like an incredibly dangerous situation for them to be. And then also, I saw a story where it was like trans woman transferred to female prison after long litigious bout. Sexually assaults 20 women in first week, and it's just him fucking mean mugging, smiling at the camera with his on. And it was like, you son of a bitch, he figured it out. Because he still had his dick, obviously.
Yeah, that's the trick right there. If you're gonna go to prison, you're like, and now I'm a transsexual. I'm gonna need to go to that ladies' jail.
Yeah, but it said that he sexually assaulted them all.
Yeah.
Or rape, or some form of harassment, probably like slapping people with his.
I just feel like
honking.
Aren't there not women hungry for sex in a female prison? Why do you need to sexually assault? How bad is your game that you can't pick up some snatch in a women's prison?
Not an attractive person based on the photo.
Yeah. Oh, well, Kyle, maybe you don't get prison talk. This is how we talk.
Yeah, what you don't understand is in the clink, that's what we say. All right? We pick up a little snatch. A little snatch and grab, if you know what I mean.
I can't. I'm trying to picture the stereotypical person in prison who'd call it snatch. And I'm coming up short.
little gray in the beard.
Hey guys,
helmet head.
Snatch around.
Man, you give me 15 max. The finest snatch you ever had.
We have something in common, Kyle. I'm about 12 hours into the 11/22/63 audiobook.
Oh, good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging. Parts of it are a little slow. Like I'm really wrapped up in the main storyline. Okay, and then whenever they right now, what's happening in the book is our protagonist is falling in love and even just had sex with another woman at the school. And, they could cut the dialogue and that whole, I get it. I guess he's going to, sync up some life in the past. And that's what they're trying to tell us. But they could speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a thick book, and that is definitely part of it. Is you've got the whole main story of him trying to stop Lee Harvey Oswald, and then there's sort of this secondary story of his love affair with that young lady in Jody, Texas.
Sophie, maybe.
I think her name might be Jody. I think they're in Jody, Texas. I don't know. I'm spacing her name, even though I literally just finished the TV show last night.
This happens to me in audiobooks. The voice actor is so good. I know all the characters by the accent that he assigns to them. There was another scene where he got sick, right? He had some sort of stomach flu and he had diarrhea and he threw up. Oh my goodness. 6 pages or on the details of the poop and the interaction with the store manager who sold him the kaopeptate and what the vomit looked like and his previous meals, and there was his dinner, then his lunch, then his breakfast, then his dinner from the day before, just on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, my God, I'm a little bit older since we started this topic.
Yeah, he has to go buy incontinence pants, which are adult diapers, because he has a mission to complete today. Because a man is about to massacre his family today, and he can't take the day off because he knows it's about to happen. He's in the fucking future. So and the thing about changing the past is that the past doesn't want to be changed, and so it will throw these ridiculous roadblocks in his way, like his car won't start, or he'll get a flat tire, and then the engine will explode, like if he's trying to drive somewhere to stop a thing. And so one of the things that time throws in his path when he's trying to do this thing is he gets like diarrhea and vomiting like all day long, and he's just he has a real tough time. Like he's waiting to like save this family. Meanwhile, am I gonna shit myself?
The past simultaneously hates him and loves him, right? And this is the universe of the past. Like he mentioned, it throws roadblocks when he tries to make changes, but then he ran across these kids who were doing a particular kind of swing dance that got him back in it, and then a year later, I'll say, that same song comes up, and him and this Sophie Jody woman do that same dance again. The past harmonizes and throws these lovely coincidences his way.
An interesting little tidbit about the two children that he meets there, and in the book, it's Derry, Maine, which is of course a town that Stephen King focuses on in a few different books. The main one being It. That is the town where It happens, where the the interdimensional being that takes the guise of a clown and murders children every 26 years. Those two children are two of the main characters from the book It. Right after they've defeated the clown, it's Trash Mouth and Beverly. He's like, I'm Bevy. She's like, I'm Bevy from the levee. And they're doing that little rhymey thing with their names, and they're doing the Lindy. They're doing the Lindy Hop, and he teaches them to do the Lindy Hop, and that keeps coming back over and over. The whole.
I did. There's a thing I'm really curious about, but I didn't pick up. Had they just defeated It, or are they about to defeat It?
They had just defeated It. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
For the first time, because they got to come back as adults in the It book. That's the reason. After 11/22/63, I immediately read It because I was like, I know that those two kids are from It.
Seen a movie.
Well, they sort of like hint at it, talking about the bad things that had happened there. And I recognize the town's name, Derry, Derry, as being.
That's an easy giveaway. Yeah.
They mentioned that a lot of bad things had happened in that town and kids disappeared, but he's there to prevent a guy who kills kids. And I never really realized that it was It. I didn't know that. So I thought that maybe that guy had killed some other kids. I know he killed his own kid from a previous marriage, and so I thought maybe
that's one of the things. That's one of the things that the clown in It that Pennywise does is not only does he himself take the form of whatever you're most afraid of to frighten you and feed on your fear, but he also will sort of possess like a demon people who are vulnerable to possession, people who are like alcoholics or already right on the edge. In the case of those kids' father, he's an alcoholic who has lost his family. The wife has divorced him because he was abusive, and he's lost contact with his children and all that stuff. So what's going on is the clown is possessing him. Even I think in the pages of 11/22/63, you're still dealing with Pennywise to some extent. Because there's this really creepy scene in
Texas.
In It, where the clown possesses Beverly's father, and you got to keep in mind she's 11, and he's like, "You've been letting those boys put their things in you," and she's like, "What? I don't even know what that means." He's like, "Take off your pants. I want to see if you're intact." And she's like, "No." It's fucked up.
That whole story is pretty fucked up, and I've seen the first movie. I haven't seen the book. I wonder if how big of a cultural thing was it to be afraid of clowns prior to It coming out? Was it at all a thing, or did It kind of make it a thing?
I think It really made it worse because, especially in modern times, because things like that are cyclical. What people are afraid of, our fears are cyclical, and they're oftentimes based on pop culture or just culture. There was definitely a time where diseased, where strangers were scary because you might think that strangers were going to bring some sort of flu into your village, right? Back in the olden times. And demons and witches, of course, back when we didn't understand how the weather worked and everybody was hyper religious. And then in modern times, when something like It comes out, there were protests around the country of actual hardworking clowns saying, "Hey, you're fucking our gig up. Like we're here to make the children laugh, and you're putting this Stephen King thing
acrobat. Why are you giving me shit?"
I juggle.
Yeah.
I'm Happy, the happy clown. My name is Happy. I juggle. Come on.
Yeah.
Children run from me crying when they see me now. I haven't been booked in 6 months, and that's a real thing.
That's pretty. Well, they also didn't have the help of what was it last year, the year before, where the meme of like people dressing up as in elaborate clown suits and then just standing on the edge of the woods. Which the more time that spreads between those events and now, the more I'm like, that is so fucking funny. Like that, it's a really funny thing because you're scaring the shit out of someone.
Yeah,
Right?
I didn't like that.
Kyle's talked about cyclical fears. It's occurred to me, like even between my age and Taylor's, are you not scared of sharks? I saw Jaws as a child. I was traumatized. I was scared of sharks in freshwater.
Sharks. I was afraid in pools I would go in when I was a child. Like we'd all be like, I remember when I was like 7 or something, me and some buddies were we're in a pool. And like, how you'll just hang on one side and like wait, and then you'll do a race to the other side and all that shit.
Sure.
And someone was like, I don't want to go. Jaws might be in there. And I was like, it's a pool, Max. Jaws isn't in there. And they're like, all right, Taylor, then you swim across. And I'm like, how about we all do it together? I remember I finished the first time I saw Jaws. I can't believe my parents let me watch it. I was like 5 or 6. And I was down in my basement watching it on the glass screen boob tube by myself and just like really into it. And the scene of him like almost sliding into the shark and eventually sliding into the shark's maw scared the shit out of me. And I remember when it was over, sprinting upstairs and sprinting through the hallway because I needed to get to my room because I kept imagining out of the bathroom a giant shark head just coming at me. Meanwhile, I live in Missouri.
You were
it's
a
like, I'm
dumb
fine.
child, Taylor.
So I was an absolute retard.
Man, that's a very scary movie. Jaws. Jaws scared a lot of people out
when the
of
blood
the
came
water.
out of his mouth when he was getting eaten. That scared me to death. I can still picture that scene.
Yeah, that's a great scene. The best scene of the movie is, of course, the USS Indianapolis speech that he delivers like the day before he dies or the night before, where they're all sitting around drinking. And I think the actor's name is Robert Shaw. And Robert Shaw, Roy Schneider, and the Jew are all sitting there having this conversation. At first, they're showing like battle scars off. And the Jewish, I can't think of his name. He's a famous actor from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Him and Robert Shaw are having this sort of moment where they connect finally because they've been at odds with each other the whole time because Robert Shaw's a roughneck and the other guy's an intellectual, and he's like, look at this, a stingray got me off the coast of Spain, and he's like, that's nothing, tiger shark off of the coast of Australia, and they're showing off their scars back and forth, and then he mentions the USS Indianapolis and they stop laughing. He's like, you were on the Indianapolis. And he starts telling that story, and that whole monologue. And
which one was on the story?
Robert Shaw's character, the fisherman, the roughneck guy.
Okay.
He had served in World War II. And in case you don't know the story briefly, it's true story. It happened 100% like this. The USS Indianapolis was delivering one of the nuclear weapons that was going to be dropped on Japan. It had to be taken by ship from the United States over to one of the Japanese islands that we control, loaded into the Enola Gay and dropped on a city. And their mission was so secret that when they got torpedoed and sank on the way back, they didn't radio for help. And all these soldiers are badly burned and poorly equipped, just floating in the water. Like something like 1,600 men are floating in the water with no help coming for like a week. And the sharks ate many of them. A lot of them died from dehydration, from sunstroke. A lot of them killed themselves. They just allowed themselves to drown because of the horror of the situation, burns, all sorts of things like that. But hundreds were eaten alive by sharks while the others watched. And
what a terrible way to go.
One of the worst.
Put on a life vest again.
Imagine getting burnt, not dying, and then getting eaten by a shark on top of that.
Yeah. And the whole while knowing, and not even having the thought in the back of your head, like, they're coming. When they'll be here soon. Like, you're just sitting there like, man, I'd rather have any disease than this. Probably. Other than that one where like your skin falls off, that TLC
leprosy
documentary on. Yeah. Not leprosy. Some other one. It was
Richard
one of
Dreyfuss.
those.
That's the Jew. Yeah, I like Richard Dreyfuss a lot.
It's Julia Louise's father, right?
Yes, it is. No, it's absolutely not. Her father's a rich industrialist. Only use me Playdism. That's the disease that causes your skin to fall off and your legs to eventually need to be amputated. It causes sexual assault in its victims. They become very sexually aggressive. Disorientation.
Before I knew it, there was a hole in my leg, and I was groping a woman over and over under the seat of the back of a Winnebago.
I can't participate in any of this because Blade was nice to me once 10 years ago.
You ever seen the cold, dead eyes of a woman who's just now realizing you've been assaulting her for the last 40 minutes?
And those eyes just roll over white like a doll's eye. And you know she won't remember any of this in the morning. Unfortunately, Ice Poseidon's been streaming it to the whole internet all night long, and now you'll have to talk to Chris Hansen, who's fallen far, far from grace.
Yes. Is his show still going?
I don't know, man. If he's interviewing,
he's starting the new drama alert, I guess.
I get out and he's talking to Bjorn and Only Use Me Blade. He's like, so Bjorn, I'm wondering why it is you have a problem with me. And Bjorn's like, your name is Hansen. Yeah? Yes, it's Hansen. Why do you pretend that you are American? I am American. And by the end of it, he's like, I think I understand now. He's an alcoholic numbskull. Like just
my name's Chris Hansen, and I've confronting pedophiles talking like different people. I'm Sean Connery. That's Chris Hansen. Into Sean Connery.
Yeah, I can't help it. It does every time. Yeah, I saw that and I was very confused. Blade needs to do something. His legs, like when I'm in prison talking on the phone, and Kitty's like, "Yeah, Blade's legs are rotten off," and I'm like, I don't have time to think about Blade's rotten legs. Did you get the bread machine or not?
I knew you were going there. I was going to jump in. Kitty, the Ace 1000 bread maker. Did you order it?
The Cuisinart, goddammit. The Cuisinart.
Only so many minutes I get a day.
Time's ticking down. They're warning me already. I just didn't care.
Yeah,
I wish the best for Blade, but
I have a high opinion of Blade. So I assumed that those pictures of his legs were just like his worst day, and that if we hypothetically took a picture 4 days later, they'd be largely healed. I thought that. Other people are talking about him losing his legs, and it's like, you're just drama person. Then I saw a picture maybe a month later, and it's like, whoa.
It's worse.
Is degrading? Degrading is what I'm looking for.
I guess decompose is what we're talking about.
This is a degrading situation. And I just didn't expect that to happen. I didn't think that would be the case.
If you look at his flesh, like, it's dark purple. Like, it's not the color of healing. Like, it's just,
you're right.
It's just holes.
I just like projected onto it. Like, I don't know. If you took a picture on my worst day after a skateboard slide or something like that, you might say, Woody's legs are a bit fucked. And it's like, yeah, for now. And I just attributed that to Blade. Yeah, he's having a bad shin day.
I just don't know how, like...
Is it true?
Oh, go ahead.
Is it true that he wears diapers now because he shits himself so often?
Well, to be fair, let's be I think it's more the piss.
Oh, Jesus.
The way it's been relayed to me is that Blade shits himself on such a regular basis that he puts diapers on, and he's discussed that openly. That
pants.
Yeah, he did poop. He did poop on that couch.
Like Jake Amberson.
He's the character.
Is he a time traveler and we just don't know it? Is he trying to stop the assassination of Barack Obama and we just don't know it?
Like, he did it. Congratulations. Didn't happen.
Maybe he's going to come back and do something important still. Is he a time traveler and he's just really struggling with it, and that's why it seems like time is really throwing some roadblocks in front of Blade to stop him from having any kind of a future.
Jesus Christ.
It is rough to watch because it's like. Have you ever had, what in your mind is like a moderate or mild thing happen to you? Like something as simple as I had a deer tick on me that I found after I was doing yard work the other week on the back of my leg. So I pulled it off, and even something like that, obviously no blood, it's just a little tick. I'm like, I'm going to check on this every day for the next 4 or 5 days. Make sure that a bullseye, area or a scar, not scar, whatever it is, rash begins to show. Lyme. Because if you get that bullseye, it means you're probably got Lyme disease.
Little fever too.
I was fine. I was like, good. Thank God. I love red meat. If I woke up and there was a rotting hole in my leg, I would be in a full-on panic.
You know what I would do? I'd bury my troubles in more alcohol.
And even like the type of alcohol. It's like Jaeger, the most sugary kind. Like you can't switch to like you should like the healthier option would unironically be like I'm switching to vodka.
It really would be. Yeah. You drink vodka or tequila. Both of those are very low calorie comparatively.
Or whiskey or anything other than like whiskey. Fireball and fucking Jaeger. Jaeger's not even good. I don't like it.
Alcohol is my now look, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so I'll preface it with this. But you know how calories in, calories out. It's a simple formula. So people are it's thermodynamics. Alcohol is my like primary example that seems to be an exception to that, right? Because what a calorie is if you burn it, I think 1 calorie heats up 1 milliliter of water by 1 degree centigrade, something close to that. Okay. So alcohol is very good at heating up water. Yet if you drink it, it comes out of your pee, it comes out of your breath, it comes out of all sorts of things. Like, I don't know that your body is as awesome at converting alcohol to fat as it is, say, sugar to fat, which I'm awesome at doing.
Maybe. I mean, I think mostly like it is the calories in, calories out, but like
mostly
the difference in. So first of all, like comparing apples to apples, just like the ethanol content, like the ethanol in there is what gives alcohol its calories. Like 1 shot of vodka has got like 100 calories. 1 shot of Jägermeister is, let's see, calories in 1 shot of Jaeger is. Load faster. 112 calories. And Jaeger is only like 30% alcohol, whereas vodka's 40.
Yeah. Or it's yeah.
And so it's more calories in Jaeger and less alcohol and a fuck ton of sugar. And so it's like a triple down worse than even regular hard alcohol. Like I think there's like a reason that alcoholics, like, you rarely see them drinking Fireball 24/7. They're like they've moved on to like high proof vodkas, or the kind of vodka that you get in plastic barrels that like it's a horseshoe of life. You only buy those if you're like 16.
Taylor,
trying to,
I won't sit here and let you throw stones at Blade as if he's some sort of 2-bit alcoholic drinking the wrong alcohols. My man is on top of the alcoholic game. And you need to put some respect on that voice when you talk about him, all right?
All right, but I just think he could both save time, money, and his legs if he would switch to vodka instead of fucking Jägermeister. Like, it's like the worst possible name. Even drinking beer, like light beer,
shit
would be
Kyle
better
had
for
me
you
drink
than that.
has to be pretty like worse than Jaeger. No,
oh yeah.
What was it called?
It's called sugar.
It was really
Grand Marnier or Grand Gala. They're very sugary. Yeah.
Yeah, Grand Gala calories. I bet it's similar, honestly.
Okay.
It's got to be higher. I would guess 160.
It just seemed really sugary. As a matter of fact, like when I revisited the bottle for the next drinking episode, like 8 months later, the top of it was just encrusted with sugar. Like you could lick it and it was legitimately just sugar.
I had a glass of it. I've told this before, but like there was just that tiny residue in the bottom of the glass after you've drank it. And I left it sitting on my nightstand for a week. And I looked and it had turned into this crystallized rock candy formation that was beautiful, like a snowflake.
So this is 1 shot of Grand Gala has 156 calories and 12.5 grams of carbs and sugar per serving.
Jesus Christ.
I think next drinking episode, which is going to be a ways off. I think Kyle can't drink for
I can't drink for a while. Okay. Yeah. We'll get that sorted.
Oh,
but
no, don't sort it.
Taylor's doing his Woody impression.
I'll do it anytime.
Vodka and water, I think. Like I learned. I guess what you do is you get a regular water bottle. I have to do it on air so that people don't accuse me of cheating. And you drink like this much of it to the label, and then you fill it up with vodka.
Oh,
is that too much? You think?
I've never done that in a water bottle before.
My thought process is every sip of that 12 or 16 ounces is going to be hell for you. Whereas you can just like you could take a rocks glass and just put like 2 fingers of vodka in there and be like, this is going to suck, but it's only going to suck for 5 seconds and just be like, glug, glug, glug. Oh, I hated that. Now I can move on to sipping Gatorade, which is like fruit punch flavored or lemon lime flavored. And I'm fine with that. Whereas if you have that 16.5-ounce bottle that's 1/8 vodka, every sip of it is going to be like, oh, so gross. Oh, so gross for like 20, 30 minutes.
If I do like
You're
vodka
making sense
water,
to me. Yeah.
I'll put some Mio or something in there. You know what Mio is? It's like that water flavoring shit. And like you just kind of spritz in there at 0 calories. And so I'll like put a shot or two in like a nice big glass and then add as much water as I want and Mio it. And it's really not that bad. And I just don't like taking shots. I really don't.
What is Mio?
It's
like
sugar-free,
a water additive, sugar-free
flavoring.
Yeah. And so it's like you go
Like
and squirt a little bit in.
Light almost.
Yeah.
But it's a liquid and it's super duper concentrated. Like if you have like a standard like glass of water, like 3 or 4 drops is plenty.
Yeah.
Drops?
It's very drops.
It's very easy to overdo it. Yeah.
It's kind of like tart, sort of sour flavor.
But they got a bunch of different flavors.
If you put 4 drops of this stuff in a standard glass of water, it's like a hint of flavor, right?
No, it's pretty flavored.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
It's very
pretty
potent.
good.
It's
then
very
they've got
concentrated.
other kinds. They've got an energy kind, and it's they're only like this big, little containers, but it'll say like every little that you do is 50 milligrams of caffeine, and so you can go like.
How much is coffee?
All right, this is now the most powerful drink in the world. Coffee is like 80, right?
Okay. I had a 5-hour energy drink for the first time. I think I had it in a Loco once in Vermont, but yeah, it's just I had a big day. I was driving, feeling almost dangerous, so I took a 5-hour energy drink. It works, and it doesn't taste as bad. Something about the bottle, the size of it, and the logo on it made me think that it was going to be awful, like the cough medicine bad, and it wasn't. It was berry.
No caffeine either.
If you convince is that true?
Really? Some of them, I thought they had caffeine. I don't really use those.
I thought caffeine was the thing. They're like $4.
I don't think so.
It's it's a lot of B vitamins in there. I know.
Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I always thought it had none.
I've seen caffeine-free versions.
Oh no, it's about as much as coffee. Apparently, I didn't know that. I thought it was no caffeine because they're always like, tell me how it's no jitters like you get from caffeine. But I guess all the B vitamins and stuff are
evens you out. I've started working out on weekdays in the morning instead of after work. And so when I wake up, like I don't like coffee enough to go make a cup and sit there and sip it and drink it and wait for it to amp me up. And so I spent $7.50 on an Amazon jar full of 200 milligram caffeine pills. And so in the morning now, I'll just roll over to my end table, open that, pop a caffeine pill. This happened like just on Monday. I was like, it was 6 a.m. And I was like, oh, this sucks. So I forced myself. I took the little thing and then laid back down and like hit snooze. And within like 8 minutes, I was like, well, sleep's not an option. All right. I gotta go. I have to go work out or I'm going to have a panic attack. And I'm pretty sensitive to caffeine and it worked great. I didn't feel that jittery for the most part. Like as long as I was working out, I didn't feel that jittery, but man, $7.50 for 100 tablets, 100 milligrams of caffeine. Caffeine is the cheapest substance on earth, I swear to God. And so if you need to wake up quick, people out there, crush this up, snort it. That's the only way to... No,
Taylor, what if I take it anally? Can we compromise on this shit?
You can do whatever you want with it, man. $7.50, pop it each way every morning.
Just for fun, I looked at 200 milligrams is also how much a 5-hour energy has.
Whew.
So I guess that's
a lot of caffeine. I don't like the idea of taking pills for caffeine for some reason. I don't know. That's just because like, there's so many. I like coffee. I like sugar-free Red Bull. I like those a lot. Great. And I just feel like that. Get your B vitamins or your taurine.
Get your saccharin and your.
Now, have you had your daily dose of guarana? What the fuck is that?
Yet. I don't know. It's probably some fucking Swedish root.
I
But
remember. Did I tell you guys like
It's
when
that thing
energy
from
drink
Beaver Anus. Carry
they
on.
first got popular, and my mom was like so sure. Like she was driving me to a friend's house. I was probably like 14 or 15. I was like, I want to get an energy drink, and she's like, fine. If you want to get an energy drink in the gas station, it's your funeral. Those are so bad for you. And I'm like, well, whatever, mom. So I went and got one, and she like looked at the can. It was just Red Bull at the time, and she's like, do you know what that is? Do you know what guarana is? It's batshit. And I was like, Mom, I've seen Ace Ventura. It's that you're thinking of guano. Guarana's probably some other nonsense. And she just was like, kind of embarrassed the rest of the drive, I think, for thinking
that thing about beaver anus is true though, or possum anus. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's beaver like scent glands or something, which are right next to their butthole, and they're used to make like raspberry flavoring, I think.
Yeah. I was drinking a raspberry sweet tea when I learned of this, and I figured it wasn't true, that it was a wives' tale or something, and I Googled it on my phone, and there I was drinking like otter anus or something.
Mm-hmm. Delicious.
In perfume as well.
Mm-hmm.
Perfumery. Oh, they're in schnapps. I don't really drink schnapps, but
did you watch?
Honestly, if it tastes good, who cares?
Did you watch the UFC fight?
I was at the lake, but I'm sort of caught up on the results. I guess.
Yeah, same.
Joanna Champion. I don't know what's true, but she told everyone she wasn't going to make weight. She said she couldn't do it. She asked Michelle Watterson, who, by the way, is fucking hot right now, if they could meet at a catch weight. And Watterson said, no. I'm gonna meet at our scheduled. We had an agreement. You and I are gonna fight at the weight that we said you were gonna fight at. And she said, hey, just so you know, I can't make it. And then when they're like, you won't change the agreement, she says, well, I'll try. So she made weight. And then afterwards, Dana White came out and said, Joanna was just fucking with you the whole time. She always knew she'd make weight.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to believe. Like, on one hand, Joanna does fuck with people mentally like that. That's part of her game. On the other hand, like, I don't know. Dude, the internet. So Joanna Champion got fake boobs since the last time she fought at 115. Looks great. A lot of people were like, I don't know. That's like 200 grams of boob, 400 grams. The last 400 grams are the hardest to cut. And just like suddenly people are like experts on the effect of implants on cutting weight.
That would be my thought process as a know-nothing idiot, is like, you just added artificial weight. That seems like a wait till you retire maneuver.
I agree mostly. I wonder what kind of opportunities come their way. Like Paige Van Zant's a professional fighter, but she's also making some money modeling, and I can't think of any movies she's done, but people like that get movie offers. So I have to wonder if she's like, if I had some jugs, I could get the next Hunger Games, maybe.
Yeah. She was very flat-chested beforehand.
Both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
I'm always in favor of that.
I figured she'd beat Michelle. Joanna's very good. I think she's probably the second best fighter at that weight, and the first best fighter is Rose, who I read was looking really good. I hope she comes back and fights soon.
Yeah, that title's changed hands 3 times in the last 3 fights. I forget the current champion's name.
Isn't the Asian lady, right? The Chinese girl?
I'm pretty sure she won in China, right? Is she the champ?
I thought that the big Brazilian girl that beat Paige lost then to the Chinese girl, and that the Chinese girl now held it.
That sounds
my understanding.
Right.
But in any case, I'm a big Rose fan. Don't really care about those other girls. Michelle's very pretty, and she's got a nice family life. She's got a little kid and everything. I wish the best for her, but I'm a big Rose fan. I want her to get her championship back. She looked so good in that fight up until that lady slammed her on her head and knocked her unconscious.
Yeah, so Kyle has everything right. Weili Zhang is the champion. Jessica Andrade, I think. Okay, there's no G, but that could still be right. Jessica Andrade is the one that she beat, and Rose is third. And Joanna Champion is fourth, I guess, in that weight class. But
is there another UFC fight coming up?
Yes, the BMF. Oh, wait. What are we talking about? Joe Lozon fights this weekend.
Yeah, in 3 days, I think.
Yeah, I have the 19th in my head. Does that sound right?
Oh, yeah, 18th? I thought it was the 18th. Yeah, Joe fights just a few more days. Yeah, look forward to watching that.
Yeah.
Hope Joe wins. They're in
I was-
Boston, of course. I don't know anything, but I would think maybe Joe's planning this as like maybe a retirement fight. Maybe he rides off in the sunset on a win, at home. That'd be a nice way to do it.
Yeah, I hope so.
That would be cool. That would be
Yeah.
cool. But I'm not in the business of predicting Joe's retirement.
No, it's up to him.
Yeah.
Today was the Blues day to go to the White House.
I saw some
And
news stories.
Trump has been ridiculous about it. He's like doing an interview. Apparently, he's like, early in the season, I even talked to the commissioner, and he said it does not look good for these guys. And he goes, Alexander Steen was standing up there with them, and Steen is our guy who has like all 4 teeth missing. And he was just like, these guys, they came back, they won the. Get a load of this guy. Get a load of that face. Get over here. Get over here. He's like, you think I could take this guy to fight? You think he's taking a few hits? I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. And then he was like introducing shit, and it's like all the Blues are behind him. Meanwhile, it's the most Canadian team in the NHL. Like 18 of the 22
That's
of
why
them
they won.
are Canadian. Yeah. And he's saying stuff like, I'm here, I'm celebrating, having a great time with this team, a wonderful time. Our economy's doing great. Yeah, even Nancy Pelosi couldn't ruin the fun we're having today. And all this stuff. He's like, greatest economy in history, boys, and they're trying to impeach me. I wouldn't worry too much about it to a bunch of Canadians. It's just like, it's just so fucking funny.
Have you guys seen the electoral margin that I won by? It was the largest in history.
Our goalie Bennington tried to did the hand thing back to him a little bit.
Oh,
like the pull in.
Is Trump
thing
still doing that bullshit?
He does. He's 70. You cannot teach him a new trick. He's like 74 years old. He's an old dog. And he was like, this man right here stopped 32 of 33 shots, Game 7 against the Bruins in Boston. I just got to know, why didn't you just stop the last one? And the guy's like,
pretty good.
I don't know. I guess it was a good idea. He's like, you always have good reflexes? Yeah, I'm sure. And like all the fucking
what if he slapped him? What if Trump Hi, you stopped that one either, did you?
32 for 34. If you try to block this, 32 for 35, 36, 37. And so he's just out there talking about impeachment, and you can see the Blues behind him kind of just being like, why? Just talk about the hockey game and then let us eat the ever getting colder Chick-fil-A you provided us.
It wasn't Chick-fil-A, right?
Oh, was it not? I was just
no. I'm asking because it's not too far. It's Trumpian to do that.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to know, like the government's back open. He should have a White House kitchen.
Yeah, he should. Honestly, like, if he had heat lamps on more than just the Burger King that day, whenever the fucking Patriots went or whatever, it wouldn't have been that bad. But
might have been a college team.
Oh, college team. It was Alabama, I think.
Yeah, Clemson probably.
Clemson. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Clemson. So, yeah. Well, the Cardinals are getting absolutely molested in their series, Kyle. So that's good news.
I don't want to talk about sports.
Oh, okay.
The NBA stuff is still going wild. Like we laid it out in the last PKA. I guess a GM from some team, maybe the Spurs, said something negative about China. A couple more players did, but the NBA came out and said, we're not going to censor what our players say. Well, now the players are self-censoring. Now no one wants to say shit about China. LeBron James came out and said that the GM was wrong and uneducated in his criticism of China. LeBron James is all about China, right? That's where all his clothes come from, his sneakers come from.
Yeah.
LeBron James has big business interests in China. And LeBron James has been outspoken about some American political issues. And there was a time when he criticized the right in some way. And they said, hey, you should shut up and dribble. But their timing was bad because he was opening like a new private school in Akron. He devoted millions or tens of millions or hundreds of millions of his own money to set up like a scholarship fund. And this whole like LeBron should shut up and dribble thing, their timing was bad because he had just done a lot of good, outside of the game of basketball. And he's coming out with a new line of clothing, I think called like More Than Just a Basketball Player, something close to that. Mm-hmm. And while he's doing this, probably from China, the clothing, he's like, I'm really like not for criticizing China. The internet's going wild with ripping the fuck out of LeBron James.
Oh yeah,
Good.
It'd be funny if he was like, our clothes
episode?
are proudly made in Bangladesh.
You really need to see the South Park episode.
Really?
It's called Banned in China.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's excellent. It's really good. Randy goes to China to try to break into that Chinese market and sell his marijuana. And they open his suitcase and it's full of marijuana. And he's like, they're like, what is this? And he's like, marijuana.
Oh yeah, that's my weed. My own strain.
And they're like, oh, now he's in a prison camp, and the prison camp is horrifying. Like it's the worst thing you've ever seen. There's people shitting in holes in the floor, getting their brains blown out, getting beaten severely, and like his cellmate, like across the hallway, is Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. And hey, since you're new here, I was wondering, do you have any honey?
Yeah.
It's real fucked up. But you know, it's pretty good. Pretty good satire and commentary on the Chinese thing and what's going on over there, and how American companies will kowtow to the Chinese way of doing things. You know, the boys have had this separate storyline where they want to do this movie about themselves and their band, and like they have 2 Chinese like military guys who are just watching the whole time, like rewriting the script every second of the way. Like if oh no, don't talk about homosexuality, that doesn't fly in China. Well, but he's gay. Doesn't matter. To write it out. They're just like completely editing and censoring everything they write. It's pretty good.
China? Like, I feel uneducated on this now, and I can tell you, like, when you hear descriptions of China, oh, they've got these work camps and prisons, and they do this.
3 million people in them.
How's that compared to us? Like, per capita, I think America leads the league in prisoners.
It does, but we don't have political prisoners who are arrested for expressing their political beliefs. We've got like people who smoked marijuana. Those real hardened criminals, you know, the ones that need to be locked away to protect the rest of us.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Loiterers. Marijuana smokers.
Jaywalkers and such. But yeah, these people are being brainwashed. They harvest their organs. The prisoners, they steal their organs.
Do they literally harvest their organs? Or,
yeah.
Like I can't tell where.
Yeah.
They literally cut them open and take their kidneys.
That's a true thing that happens.
Yeah.
There was a clip on Twitter from like some, like, not Chinese, I guess Taiwanese. I don't know, fucking know what source it was, but it was like showing all of these bodies they found in like makeshift temporary caskets that were people who were frozen alive. Like, they're dead now because you can't just lay in dry ice for a
Not
long
yet.
time.
Maybe we could harvest their sperm. I don't know.
Yeah, you could get their cum. Oh, this one have a very good cum. I want
Look
all
at his
of it.
jawline.
Is he still orally harvestable? Yeah. I don't know, but it is funny. Like, so many of these companies, like these woke companies, will be like, I'm fucking BP gasoline, and here's the trans flag for the month of Pride. And then they'll be like, gays don't exist and I don't care for them. China, please buy my buy my gas. Like, just whoever's like buying it, they're gonna change. Like all of those Marvel movies, any progressive shit that they don't like, China just cuts it out. Like they just. Well, I don't think Black Panther did well at all.
Sometimes there'll be an alternate cut of the movie, but oftentimes the movie is completely rewritten in order to have Chinese characters, Chinese locations, and involvement of the Chinese government to the betterment of like the main characters of the movie. I don't remember how the end of The Martian actually goes in the book, but in the movie, you know, oh shit, we're out of spaceships, and China's like, oh, we have one, and it's China that saves the day. And I don't know, in the Meg, you know, that movie where Jason Statham fights the giant megalodon shark, you know, lots of Chinese involvement and Chinese characters just sort of like squished into that. I watched Godzilla 2 days ago for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking. King of the Monsters. It was a real shit show. Just for some reason, there's just two Chinese characters who are just squished in there, and Mothra is in China, so we got to go there.
They definitely weren't Japanese.
They definitely were Chinese.
Okay.
One top critic in China called Black Panther a torture for the eyes. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
He doesn't just dislike it.
Torture for the eyes.
I would rather go back to that camp where my cousin is when I sold him out for smoking pot. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. The episode's really good though. Really good. The South Park episode, Banned in China.
And now South Park is entirely banned in China.
Entirely banned in China. After the episode called Banned in China, scrubbed from the internet. Yes.
I always wonder what's scrubbed from our internet.
A lot of fun stuff. It's hard to find that. Well, all right. I shouldn't have said that and then immediately go to something horrific. So, a lot of things that we shouldn't ever watch. I know that shooting at the Christchurch or whatever the fuck it was in New Zealand, where the guy shot all of those Muslims. That's kind of been removed from the internet.
That one chick that had sex on a urine-soaked public restroom.
Yeah.
What?
Dude, there's a chick. She's smoking hot. I guess her father's a wealthy attorney, and she fucked some dude on the floor of a men's restroom, and the floor had urine on it. So it's like,
Gross.
It's gross. Like, she couldn't be a filthier whore, right? Like, that's, she wins whatever prize you get for that.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's good. So, her family had that video removed from the internet, and it's the only successful example of that I've ever heard of. You can't find it, even if you spend some entire nights looking for it, hypothetically.
Even if you spend night after night, day after day, after your hypothetical wife and children have gone to bed.
Well, one's in college, hypothetically, but still.
Yeah.
No, they removed an internet video from the internet, and that just, I like the current strategy that most people have with their porn lives, which is, there's so much porn out there. Like, what are the chances you're going to find my drop of urine in the ocean?
Yeah.
Right? It's just, there's so
true.
much out there, you won't see me.
Yeah. I mean, the listeners still haven't found all of my pages that I make. But I'm more into snuff stuff, and so that you have to dig deeper.
Oh no.
Yeah. Does snuff porn mean that you kill someone?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. I wanted to be sure. Have you ever watched that before?
I don't think so. No, never
So
mixed the
is this
sex with the murder.
So there is sex with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I always
an
assumed
ISIS
it
guy
was
beheading someone wouldn't be called snuff porn.
Yeah.
I thought it was almost like, know how Reddit has that dumbass shit that if I ever meet the person who came up with history porn and city porn, I would want to go to their house wherever they live, knock on their drawer. And then as soon as I do, tickle them until they're begging me to stop. Help, I'm dying, but I wouldn't stop. I teach them a lesson.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know snuff film.
Yeah.
Actually, are you sure snuff film has to have sex?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought it just meant that you snuffed a life out. Right?
Yeah, no. So the Wikipedia page is implying that the person has to be actually murdered or commit suicide. A snuff film or a snuff movie is a movie in a purported genre of movies in which a person is actually murdered or commits suicide. It may or may not be made for financial gain, but it is supposedly circulated amongst a jaded few for the purpose of entertainment. Some film records of executions and murders exist, but in those cases, the death was not staged for financial gain or entertainment. I don't know. It doesn't look like... I think there is snuff pornography, and that's a related thing.
But I assume that would be some slaver is fucking someone who's chained up, and then after they finish fucking, they just...
I think of it as a murder.
A murder. It's more of a mape. Yeah, but that shit doesn't seem very uplifting.
No, not really my favorite.
What's your favorite interview or video online you've ever seen where someone is like killed?
Huh.
Favorite murder video?
The one that like kind of puts a smile on your face.
Jesus.
I like that one where the ISIS guy is fucking a goat and he gets AC 130.
Ooh, that is a really good one.
There's a good one. There are good ones.
I know the one too. It's like black and white, sort of infrared footage or something. And
yeah, that's two thumbs up. The Russian guy getting beaten to death with hammers, 2 thumbs down.
That one's very different, and it's long. Like I
They
got
took
the
their
extended
time on that
release.
video.
That one actually is the
Extra
The
30
extended release,
minutes.
additional scenes.
Yeah, you get there's a whole thing with the Weta workshop. You get some Peter Jackson commentary. And
Well, it's the same video, but we're dressed like Urukai.
that one with the hammers in Russia. I want to say there's a screwdriver involved too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of tools.
As I watch it, my thought process on it is like, all right, this is bad, but he can have this kind of life going forward. Okay. That eye's not coming back, but he's alive. You can live a life with one eye. It's not so awful. That you could be a congressman. And then like and it just goes on and on until you're like, it'd be kinder if you killed him at this point. This is just awful.
Like I'm not quite as far as Kyle, where it's like losing one minor thing is kill yourself.
I need this. This
but
is important.
That
this. Really all the fingers. There's any of this.
What about your mouse hand? You could do without like a pinky and ring finger.
Oh, I see.
Your mouse hand, Kyle. Your mouse hand.
See, I've got a lot of buttons on this motherfucker. I got buttons on the side. I got buttons on this side.
You're right. If it's gonna fuck with your KT, just end it.
I mean, I
fucking kill myself. How's
There's
that
a lot
sound?
going on here.
What is I'm curious. How much weight have you gained since you got back?
I haven't weighed myself, but I don't think I've gained much. I've just been eating like one meal a day. So, and I haven't been eating crazy. Like I made the ice cream, but I didn't eat much of it. Like I had like a few bites of it. It was more about making it than it was eating it.
You don't look like you've gained much, but I was wondering if you were getting closer to your mean normal weight.
No, I think I'm still losing weight because I've just been eating one meal a day, and I'm keeping up with my little jog in the morning time because I'm just up anyway, most of the time. Although
you're really jogging still. I did not anticipate that. Good for you, man.
And the neighborhood here, it's I got a nice little loop where I can do. I don't know how far it is. I have no idea, but it takes me about 45 minutes, so it's probably a couple miles at least.
At least 45 minutes. You're probably running like over 4 miles.
I don't think I'm doing that far. I'm jogging. It's a light jog. I'm definitely not running too fast, but I'm definitely not walking either at the same time. But I've been eating a little bit better. I've been cooking. I've got some lamb tonight I'm going to cook. I got some lamb chops, some shoulder chops. I'm going to cook those up with some broccoli and a salad or something.
Are you sous videing them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I made filet mignon yesterday. Cooked those up with some mashed potatoes. Those were really fucking good. Sous vide them. I use that for anything that's beef or lamb, or I haven't tried it with fish. I think fish is better if you just get it in a pan and get it over with.
Yeah, I've been eating a little better the last week or so, but
I've been eating less.
The weight loss is slow.
I saw Wings is gaining weight. That was I got linked that video earlier. I guess
he's
maybe
gaining at this point.
Yeah. The title of the video is Wings Redemption says he's gaining weight and would do well in jail.
Now the second part of that statement, as the only one of us who's been in prison, how do you think Wings would do?
I think he'd be miserable. Probably he'd have different issues than I would have because nobody probably want to fuck him. But like, I think that like the beds would be so uncomfortable for him because like the heavier you are, the more you squish that pad you're on, and the harder, the closer you get to the metal that's underneath it. And I think he'd be just incredibly uncomfortable in that bed, in those chairs. Like there'd be no place for him to rest because I think in real life he spends 90% of his time, 99% of his time, either in his bed or in his big office chair, or in a truck seat or something like that. Something that for the most part supports him well and comfortably. And so to transition to a world where things aren't comfortable for a 150-pound man, it would be real awful. There was a big guy in there who was about Wings size, probably bigger than Wings, because I don't know what I would guess. Wings is probably 395 right now. That would be my guess. But there was a guy in there who was probably more like 450. And just I walked past his cube one day and I saw him lying in that bed, and it looked so uncomfortable. He's just like flat on his back to distribute his weight as evenly as possible, and still it's just mushed.
Was he new there, or was he just someone who was eating so much every single day in the cafeteria that he wasn't?
Yeah. Oh, you can stay fat and you can gain a lot of weight there because there's just so much. I mean, there's 3 meals a day and they're not healthy meals.
That was the core of my. I was waiting my turn, and I'm like, how I thought Wings would do. One, I thought he'd lose a bunch of weight because they'd regulate his diet. This is my thinking. I guess it's wrong. And that in itself would be like a positive for him. Like, all right, I'm not in love with being in prison, but I am in love with losing 3 pounds a week. And, this is cool. So maybe I was wrong there. And I didn't see him like you're very good socially and you can avoid conflict even when conflict comes looking for you. Wings isn't gifted in that same way. I see him getting maybe irritated with a guy or, I don't know, stepping on the wrong toes or something. That's my personal fear.
Step on a toe in there's going to be some blood.
Like
because you ain't so big.
I didn't get that actually. But yeah, that's my personal thing. Like, would I be able to never look in the wrong cell or always filter every word? And that's an important skill set in prison.
Maybe it'd be good to get raped right away, just to get fear going.
Just so they know I'm a lousy
like
lay.
a Band-Aid,
right?
Yeah, I just go into prison after I've been lied, where they throw in that shit at me like Shawshank Redemption. And I just present myself.
I'm gonna get ass fucked, but really unenthusiastically, so that all the other prisoners are like, "Don't bother. That guy's a lousy lay. He's a dead fish.
A terrible lay."
That's thinking.
I think he'd gain weight probably in there because
weight.
Yeah, because I don't think there's nothing to do, and there's like a lot of food to eat. There's 3 meals a day, like I said, and like breakfast, a standard breakfast is biscuits and gravy with with fruit, and they have this. I thought it was water. They had one of those like things where like the top of it is ice and like liquid like circulating in it, and you've got the little thing you can
like it's like a fruit punch type thing, right?
But it was clear. It was clear. So I thought, ice water. I'd love some ice water. And so I got some one day when I went to the cafeteria for lunch. It's just that their Kool-Aid is so cheap they didn't bother to color it. That's all it is. It's just clear Kool-Aid. You don't know what flavor you're getting. Is this fruit punch or blueberry? I don't know. It tastes good though. And it was so sweet. I took like 2 sips and I was like, my teeth hurt.
Yeah.
I can't do this. But everybody else is slurping it down. Some people are taking their half-gallon jug and just like filling that bitch up. So they got like half a gallon of this sweet sugary water. Of sugar water. Yeah. And, things like bags of sugar, you buy a pound of sugar for like $2.50, or one Mac will buy you a whole thing of sugar that's in a old Folgers jar, if you know who to talk to. So like breakfast is like the gravy and biscuits or pancakes or something like that. And then lunch could easily be like beans and rice and chicken and tortillas and or like pizza or hamburgers and French fries.
Him eating his sorrows too. Like I didn't realize. I pictured me going with the tray, them giving me whatever they think is an appropriate meal, and not having anything to say about it.
I pictured it a lot more like Oliver Twist-ish, where like you'd go up to go for more, and they're more, and then you get beat up by the toughest guy.
I mean, that's it. You don't get more. They don't beat you up, but like there isn't more that I saw. Although
so
you could
load up in the beginning.
They put it on your tray, just like
okay.
school lunch in high school or any school, elementary or whatever. They prepare your tray for you, and like they'll ask you your preference, like, hey, do you want the gravy on it or on the side, that sort of thing. Or you can tell them, hey, no beans for me, and they'll do that. But they're not going to give you extra of anything. But the thing is the commissary, right? Because you've got those 3 very square meals a day that are each probably 1,500 calories. I don't know. They're unhealthy meals. It's a lot of stuff. It's pizza and Swedish meatballs and chicken fajitas and stuff. It's not terrible food. And then you got the commissary all day. And everybody's eating, and they'll fill those big Tupperware bowls up with all kinds of nasty shit. It's melted cheese and nacho chips, and they're just eating Pringles all fucking day long and drinking Coca-Cola and just you could just.
I would definitely gain weight in prison. Like my big thing is like snacking when I'm bored, and if I'm going to be bored eating, I'm going to pack on the fucking pounds. And I'm not going to pull a Kyle and eat a pouch of chili a day. I'm going to be like, well, life is just filling up time between meals now. And with, reading It and Harry Potter.
I do think I could find a workout buddy. Like that part of it I might also do really well. Find
Yeah.
a workout buddy, get my pull-ups and push-ups in, and
Yeah, everybody seemed to, almost everybody was out there working out. Like we went early in the morning because I don't know, that's when he went, so that's when I went. But a lot of people would work out twice a day or 3 times a day, whether they run, they play a lot of pickleball. That was a big thing in there. Not so much basketball or softball ever. Never softball. I was like, come on, let's get a game going. But they play football and stuff like that. So that everybody was working out. Not everybody. There were fatties in there. There were people who just did nothing. And there were guys who seemed like they were working out hard, but they just ate so much that they were still just real fat.
I was about to say, that's the move. You just want to bloat max. You just eat as much as you can every day, more high protein, still lift weights, but you're not trying to get shredded. You're trying to get, prison thick.
to
so
where
you
like
nobody,
tough,
you look bigger than you
want
are.
to get fucked.
Yes, you don't want to get raped. Like I like on an
That's
eye, on a
some next
glance,
level strategy.
I want the thought to be, oh, that guy's big, and he's also not good looking. Nah. Whereas if you get shredded, it's like, man, that guy's looking like a snack, and it looks like he doesn't need a lot of snacks because he's so shredded. But I can rape him, so I'm gonna rape him.
There were a lot of snacks in there. A lot of snacks. Like the.
Are we talking about handsome guys or snacks in this situation?
A lot of
snacks. There's my friend Snow and Block.
I was wondering, like you were saying, people could get anything. They're like, "Oh, you want some vodka? We got vodka. You want whiskey? We got whiskey. You want weed?
Yeah.
We got weed." So, did the guards just not care, or were people more careful about it to where there wasn't some guy just like stumbling around drunk?
Yeah, there was that.
Okay.
I could smell weed at night on the outside, but like I never noticed that anyone was intoxicated or not on alcohol. I didn't smell any alcohol on people. You'd smell cigarettes and weed on people though.
Yeah,
and I could tell somebody was really fucking high off something else, and I knew that those things were available, and if you really wanted them, you could go get them.
Okay.
But if they caught you, you'd be in a lot of trouble. So one thing I've never mentioned, the guards wear these big like keychains covered with like all kinds of keys and jingle jangly things. And the whole idea is, if you hear me coming, put it away, and you will hear me coming. I don't want to see it.
The guards have cowbells tied around their necks.
They do, and it's intentional. It's all about them not wanting to be like, they're there to keep you there. They're not your priest. They're not your rabbi, and they're not your mother. All right. You do what you want to do, but don't let me fucking see it, because if you've got it out when you heard me coming, you're literally disrespecting me. And there's going to be, it's like you're rubbing it in my face. Like, hey, yeah, guard, I knew you were coming. I'm still rolling a cigarette up. That's when you would get in trouble for a cigarette. The guards knew that every night at 9:30 or whatever, after they walked through and counted us all, as soon as they walked out the door, everybody heads to the bathroom and lights a cigarette up. The whole place reeks of cigarettes at that point for like an hour.
Yeah.
But they jingle jangle every fucking where. All the guards, all the staff, like this big chain that like runs from like their, I don't know, like halfway between their hip pocket and their groin, and like down and back almost to the opposite side, like between their hip pocket and their ass. And it's covered with like the big prison keys, they're ridiculous. And all this other shit on there that's like just
old
jingle jangly little coins.
Do they look like those dungeon keys like you'd buy at a Halloween supply store?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. That's what I thought. That's what I wanted to.
And if they really I have seen before, like I could hear them coming, and like after a while you get cued into the noise of that jingle jangle, and I hear the jingle jangle, but it's very faint. And he's 2 doors away. He's like just come into the dorm, but he's not even into the sleeping part of the dorm. And I heard jingle jangle, and I was like, and then it went away, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, I guess he's not coming. And then I hear like a rubber boot behind me, just walking real quietly, and I turn around and look, and it's a lieutenant or something like that, and he's holding that bundle of keys, creeping through, trying to catch somebody doing something. He's on a mission.
What an asshole.
And he goes in the back, and he wakes some guy. He's like, all right, get out, come on. He starts ripping all the guy's shit apart, throwing all of his shit on the floor. He's searching him. He's shaking him down. And I guess he didn't find anything. But like when they do that, they throw everything that you own in the world on the floor. It's so fucked up. It's like
that's so demoralizing.
It's like a tornado just what went through your double wide trailer and everything you own is now scattered in the yard for the neighbors to
That
look
ever
at.
happened to you?
No, they never searched they never looked in it. They never bothered me. They never, nothing like that ever happened to me. And it didn't happen often to anybody, but I saw it maybe 4 times when I was there. All right, everybody get out of here. We're going to search this whole thing. And, they just took all their shit apart and lifting up their mattresses and just really digging through their little world.
Wonder if they always find it. Like, how many times have people searched where they're like, haha, thank God they didn't look inside the pillow, or whatever.
Yeah.
If they probably don't announce that to people. They're just like, thank God.
Well, if they find, the person isn't going to say anything, but if they're looking, they probably knew something. I don't know where I knew where people would hide some things, but I didn't know like people's personal hiding spots. They did catch one guy with SIM cards, cell phones, synthetic marijuana, and cigarettes, and he never came back.
They had a lot of things.
He had a lot of things, and he was like flaunting them, like he was sort of being braggadocious about him, like, yeah, I got
wealth.
this and that.
Just SIM cards, tossing them in the air.
iPhone 11 Max, bitch.
Yeah.
This isn't college. You can't brag about that.
Yeah.
They said that sometimes a guard would confiscate a cell phone from one of us, and then they'd go up the hill to the medium security prison, and they could sell it up there for $600 or $800. I guess they don't.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I was like,
That's like 10,000 hours of work.
Yeah, I was like, how many Macs is that?
5 years of labor. That's like,
That is pretty funny. If I were a prison guard, I'd probably do the same thing.
I would
depends
not
how much you value
recommend
your
that.
job.
Yeah, it depends how much you value that job, and perhaps ending up being a
freedom.
prisoner there. Yeah.
Well, if you were a prisoner there, you'd be very popular, maybe.
I don't know about that. Maybe with some of the guys, you'd be very popular. Maybe. That book I was telling you about, the Stephen King book, Mr. Mercedes, about the retired police detective. I guess it's a fucking TV show. I was just Googling it, looking for the 3rd book. It's called End of Watch, and I want to get into the 3rd and final book of that series. It's a TV show. I'm about to start watching. I think it's on Prime.
King has a successful offer. I bet he's wealthy.
Yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah,
Gotta be.
He's written like 60 novels. All of them, literally all of them, are like bestsellers. And that's one of the things that. Yeah,
400 mil.
And the licensing, like all of those movies that have been made, like so many of his movies that you didn't even know were his, are movies like The Running Man, that old Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
It was his, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't either until I started looking into it. And like all these current TV shows, 11, 22, 63, that they made a show out of that. And apparently Mr. Mercedes is a whole TV show. And everything from The Shining to The Shawshank Redemption to The Green Mile, Carrie, Pet Cemetery, all of that stuff. The Stand, Under the Dome.
He's
are all
pretty
TV
old.
shows.
He is such a weird fucking dude.
Weird
He's
dude.
72. I didn't know.
His nostrils are off-putting.
He's an odd-looking fellow.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's had some plastic surgery.
Well, he had that terrible incident where he was ran over as a pedestrian, and I think I know his leg was basically destroyed, and had to be pieced together. But by the look of his face, it looks like something happened there too, right? He's an odd-looking guy.
Or maybe they. So I'm looking at his face now. In this picture, it looks like they stretched out like next to his noses and his. Like maybe that's why his nostrils that way. They just stretched it.
I don't know.
He's an odd-looking guy for sure.
Strange.
Yeah, it's
on
weird.
Some of his jacket covers, he's got a mustache. That was not a good look for him.
It's weird to be odd looking, right? Like, let's say he did have plastic surgery that made him look like that. What's the alternative version of him look like? Super old, I guess. 72. He might be all like fat faced in a negative way. Like, you look at him and you're like, you look weird. But what's worse, weird or ugly?
Yeah.
Sometimes I always want to know the alternate version.
Do you want to look older like a lizard?
Yeah.
Lizard.
Who's Joan Rivers?
I play a lot of Total War.
He's kind of botched. Who's a plastic surgery person?
As a Manzamoon.
Who's the guy who sings? You know
Kenny
when to hold 'em.
Rogers.
Know when to fold 'em. Yeah, Kenny Rogers is fucked.
He doesn't even look like Kenny Rogers.
No,
but he's
doesn't.
not that I have a picture of him. I'm going to send you a link. And
he should have known when to walk away and know when to run.
He doesn't
Does he
look
have
like
eyes?
Kenny Rogers to me, but he's looking down.
Oh,
He doesn't look bad. What does the other version of him look like? What does the non-altered version of him look like?
once you get to really fucking old, just give it up. Let it go.
That's and society cut some slack, right? No, they did it with Barbara Bush. The whole world nicely said, "Isn't she sweet?" Right? No one was like, Barbara Bush isn't doing well in the hottest first lady pageant.
SNL did.
Oh,
I
did they?
think
That's
they
not
made fun of
nice.
her having a mustache.
But I felt like they just like leave her alone. Right? She's not dying. her
Mr.
hair.
President, so sweet of you to bring your mother.
Yeah,
She looks so goddamn old.
Meanwhile, people are like Melania. They're like, "Well, Melania, you dumb bitch." Like, just because she is good looking.
to
She
me,
is pretty
Melania,
hot.
well, she's also a plasticky kind of look. But like I said, what does the non-altered version of her look like? Maybe she looks better with that plastic surgery.
Yeah. There's like a critical mass of plastic surgery where when people get it, they can't come back from it. They look ridiculous. I don't know. Maybe some of it's so good I don't even pick up on it.
That could be too.
Well, everybody ready to get dinner?
So
Yeah.
ready. Yeah.
No,
I
I'm
just
so
get all
hungry.
caught up in celebrities' looks.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm looking up young
PKN
pictures of Melania Trump.
269.